Welcome to Pensar Basketball Live, and the Toronto Raptors don't win this game. It's the first time I've ever started with the don't win this game. The Toronto Raptors were winning this game. It was looking like they might win this game, and up until the fourth quarter, it almost looked like they were certainly going to win this game. They didn't walk in favored to win this game, but midway through, that really did flip. Pacers walk into Toronto on Pascal Siakam tribute night. A lot of touching moments there. You know, if you read Pascal Siakam's Players Tribune article, you remember that really touching part about how he used to look around and scan to see how many 43 jerseys he would see. And not only the number of people who've obviously read that article, not only has that really, forced a lot of Indiana fans to buy Pascal Siakam jerseys, but also it had Toronto Raptors fans, some of whom have had accumulated Pascal Siakam jerseys over the last 6 years, to wear those jerseys in droves tonight. And he got a very loud ovation, a lot of, standing, clapping. I don't think I've seen a rival player or an opposing team's player introduced that way. It was a very touching moment for him, for sure. The Indiana Pacers did not look good to start. I think you see the holes with this team if you watch them tonight. Their defense is like really compromised, right? Really compromised. And in the middle, without Miles Turner tonight, then they lose. They end up losing Aaron Nesmith, like 17 minutes he only plays. He goes out with a somewhat scary injury. Kelly Olynyk, the Raptors, they lose him. He goes back into the locker room in the first half. He doesn't come back. Allegedly, initially, he was supposed to be available to play, but he did not finish out the game. Let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second here. Take a look at what happened. How have I gone 2 minutes into this live without talking about the game that was, for some of the younger Raptors, I think, had themselves a game. Scottie Barnes, the man of the controversy, the man of the hour. At the end of my life, I'm going to look back. Maybe I'm going to stare on my deathbed. I'm going to think, was it a productive use of 6 hours to sit there and defend him against Josh Bloomberg yesterday? Probably not. I don't know. It cheeses me, grinds me a little bit when people, get at him, but we'll talk about that at some point today because I noticed some better body language. But you know what? I had a lot of time to listen to people yesterday talking about what their specific issue is with him. And at some point, as a Raptor fan base, we're going to have to come together in the middle about him. So the people who think he's better than LeBron or he's going to be LeBron, maybe those people are going to have to chill a little bit. And the people who think he's Ben Simmons, those people are probably going to have to chill too. And we're going to have to come in the middle. And I think that a good place to start would be just being honest about what we're seeing. And there was a particular interview yesterday that I saw, not with Scottie, but with somebody else. And I had a conversation, a good conversation with an athlete that I respect a lot about this subject yesterday. We were just shooting the shit and it just came up naturally. And I think he talked some sense into me, and I think I can address this conversation a little bit more reasonably and rationally at some point in this live than I have before. But Scottie Barnes played well tonight. For the most part, I think he played well. If we're going to point to anything, it's that 0 for 4 from 3. His jump shot not looking so great since like about a month and a half ago. It's been kind of abandoning him a little bit. He does hit a 3, but his foot's on the line, and then boom, he doesn't hit a 3. And that's the difference between 29 points and 30 points for him. He did have 6 turnovers tonight. I don't think, like, among all the 6 turnovers, 7 turnover games, 5 turnover games I've seen from him, this didn't feel like a particularly egregious 6 turnovers. I think there were 2 that were just really bad. There were a couple where guys just didn't catch a pretty reasonable pass. So this is just growing pains. We saw a lot of great synergy between him and Chris Boucher. Again, him and Chris Boucher, him and Gary Trent. What do those 2 guys have in common? Number one, they shoot the basketball when he gets it to them. They don't play around with it. They don't mess around with it. Number one. Number two, he's been playing with them for 2.5 years. So there's actually some chemistry there. And I think you're going to have to give it some time. But the player that I saw today Granted, against a paper thin, Indiana defense, was every bit an all-star, very much could have very easily had a triple double, and rack up a few more turnovers, might have had a quadruple double tonight. 29 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists for Scottie Barnes. Gary Trent Jr., he's been struggling in the last few games, right? I liked his assertiveness getting to the glass tonight. He had 6 rebounds, all of them defensive, and most of them long. The Pacers take a lot of threes. They took 41 threes tonight. They do take a lot of threes, long shot, long rebound, but let's be honest, like, the Raptors have had guards in the past, Gary included, who do not chase down those rebounds. So it was overall good to see. Ochai Agbagi gets the hook after, he hits a 3. He hits his only 3, but I think defensively he had a couple of miscues, and we could argue, the guy hits his first 3 and then he gets benched. But I think Jordan Nwora was a good bet. He's playing against his old team. Let's see if we can get something from him. He had a really nifty pass. Doesn't score. Didn't force anything. I think he was fine. Gradey Dick continues to impress. I thought he was brilliant. Bruce Brown, probably one of his better games in a long time. Finishing in the paint. Again, there's nobody there. RJ Barrett went downhill, boom, scored in the paint. Kelly Olynyk, his worst game, unfortunately. He's been the Raptors' best player the last 2 games, in my opinion. And by the analytics, he's been the best player on the team the last 2 games. In his first 2 games, but his third game, unfortunately, I think he had lower back stiffness or back strain, and he just didn't come back. And I think they could have used him. But in his absence, we got a Chris Boucher sighting, and he did not waste that opportunity at all. He was amazing. He was great. He was inspired. 10 points, 4 rebounds, not 1 block, 1 steal, and 0 mistakes. Did Chris Boucher play like a damn near perfect game? He was really, really close to it, right? He was great. In terms of the starters, Jakob Poeltl was really good tonight. I really liked him. 19 points, 11 rebounds, dropped a couple of passes that I think maybe felt consequential. There was a couple of, rebounds that I think he could have gotten. There's maybe a couple of assignments he missed, but overall, I think he was okay. He was good. RJ Barrett, really assertive, getting downhill. He's the guy who misses that final shot. I guess Darko drew it up for him. They liked the matchup. It was a good shot. He just missed it. I like Scottie, encouraging him after. It was good to see. Immanuel Quickley, look at the numbers and you guys say 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 14 points, +3, whatever. You guys say he was great. He was good and bad. He was like the worst of himself and the best of himself in this game. I think one thing I'm noticing with him is just his strength, his lack of strength, his inability to just bump guys a little bit, like that Jalen Brunson, Fred VanVleet strength. He needs to get much stronger. Defensively and offensively, it will help him a lot if he just gets stronger. Right now, he's very finesse. He gets bumped off his path very easily, and he's not quite quick enough, if that makes sense. He's not quite quick enough to make up for all of that because he's losing a lot, and he's just getting swallowed up by defenders. And if you put a bigger defender on him, and like his shot is just not, like, he's going to have to get a little bit deeper in his bag. He's going to have to get a little bit quicker, something a little bit stronger, because those gaps are so different as a starter. And I think tonight, like, he attacked some of them and he had some success. I think there's a lot of times where the ball stuck a little bit too much in his hands, where, maybe some early transition plays were missed because of him. Overall, this is a learning process for a 24-year-old who's been thrust up a position. Fred VanVleet did not blossom into an all-star in year 1 of starting. He kind of grew into it. Fred VanVleet had a brilliant table setter like Kyle Lowry to walk him into it, though. Immanuel Quickley at 24 is a considerably better player than Fred VanVleet. So if you trust his work, then the floor on this is pretty much he's going to become a one-time all-star, right? Scottie, so we talked about the numbers. Let's talk about the game. Overall, I think, he had some really, really encouraging moments, some hyper energy. We saw a lot of bounce to his step. He was pushing the ball in transition. I think there was a lot of, good ideas from him, through this game. I think he really, he had a you could feel him in this game, like a lot. You could feel his footprint, handprint, whatever on this game, in terms of how the Raptors were running in transition, in terms of how they were defending. And, I think he was good. There were mistakes, though. I believe when Tyrese Halliburton got open, when he was like he was surprised. I believe that was Scottie who missed that rotation. There was another play where he left. Who did he leave? Pascal Siakam wide open in the corner. Not like, again, this is back to back. This is back to back or 2 times in 3 games where he's left a perceptive non-shooter who's shooting really well right now, right? And this is a maturity thing. I think this is something that OG Anunoby, learned as well as he grew, to read the scouting report on the player that you're, the player that you're guarding. If you're going to be guarding up against Pascal Siakam, you can't go on the knowledge of who he was 3 months ago, or 3 years ago. You have to understand that as a pacer, he's shooting 42%, which means you don't have to close out aggressive and run him off the line. Basically, Scottie's doing what he saw other defenders do to him. But this is the preparedness that will take you to the next level as a defender, as an offensive player, is understanding that this guy's shooting 42% and Evan Mobley is shooting threes really well now. So you don't have to chase him off the line, but you can't just wave them off and treat them like they're Draymond Green or Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? So I think it's worth noting. I do believe that Andrew Nembhard fouled Scottie late. I believe that, when the game was very, very close there, I believe Scottie should have gotten free throws. I think it happening right in front of the refs, happening at home. Like, I don't know how you don't call that. Like, the guy fell over straight up. Like, it's crazy. Personally, I think that's just wrong. Call something, because it's just not it's not a no call. But I think sometimes, when you're big and the guy you're guarding is small and he, nudges you and you fall, referees tend to look the other way on that one. It's just the consequence of being big in the NBA is you don't get to be pushed over by small guys. There were a few times where I think emotions got the best of him tonight as well. If I'm being completely honest, I think there's a couple times where, he was very frustrated. I was very frustrated for him because I can only imagine what the magnifying glass is on him right now, how frustrating it must be to know that, as you are literally walking to the bench and saying something to a teammate, that a camera could zoom in on you real close and basically just like dissect, an expression to mean something else. I mean, certainly we saw a lot of that yesterday, with Josh Lewenberg implying that Scottie Barnes' body language didn't match his words, or, Will Lou and Blake Murphy going off on like dissecting whether or not he really meant his apology, or people going off on Darko. I thought it was a little bit cringe and a little bit weird, So two thoughts to completely cap that off before, we can just move on, couple things. Number one, I was on a Twitter space yesterday. My girlfriend was just looking at me like, bro, you got shit to do with pen dance. What are you doing on this Twitter space? But it was a very fascinating Twitter space to me, because it was a good opportunity to learn something about myself, I think. And I listened to somebody. I'm not going to name her by name. She's a very lovely person, and she always speaks from her heart. And she was talking about this concept of dissecting a person that you don't understand, especially when the person that you're dissecting and what you're dissecting about them can be racially insensitive, culturally insensitive, whereby it could be interpreted as a microaggression. And I had to listen to that. And as I heard her criticizing Josh Lewenberg for what he's saying about Scottie Barnes, it had me introspecting a little bit about, is it not something similar to what people might have felt some way about me doing this to Pascal, or me doing this to Fred VanVleet last year, implying that, hey, they're not being honest about that. They're not being honest about that. You know what I mean? But it was very easy to brush it over and call everyone who was calling me out then crazy and just saying like, but I'm right. And I'm sure Josh Lewinberg right now thinks he's right. Right. But it doesn't excuse the fact that some people might feel some way about that. And I think you have to listen. So yeah, I had to listen, and I'm glad I did. So let me cap off this Scottie Barnes, body language thing. Really, the whole conversation about it. I really want to just be straight up about this. I listened to an interview with Paolo Banchero in which he was talking about how Coach K had sent him like 8 clips of him hanging his head and, just being very demonstrative about his emotions. And he just clipped them all together and he just sent it to him and he said, cut the shit out. It's weak. It's pathetic. It brought me back to something that happened to me or with me in 2019. So my ex-girlfriend was working for the film festival that I run, Penn S Film Festival, and I was not having a good weekend. Okay. And I'm the festival director, but I was not having a good weekend. Things were not going well. We had a snowstorm. It was crazy. There was like some filmmaker who was creating this trouble and whatever. And it was weighing on me. I was very underslept. I was very tired. And I just had this idea in my head of being real, keep it authentic. And she was like, you can't do that here. You're dampening the mood. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're creating like a vibe to this place that is not fun to be around. And whether you feel that way or not, these people don't have anything to do with that. So you got to manage your emotions in a way that they don't spill over onto other people. And so it got me thinking, how is that different from a basketball game? It is not that different from a basketball game, right? If you hang your head, if you don't get back on defense, if you sulk, it's infectious. Your teammates feed off of that energy. And with Scottie, most of the energy that he gives, in my opinion, is so positive. And he's hyping up his teammates. He's picking up teammates when they're down. And he's such a powerful personality. And he's got such a powerful energy. And I've noticed this about certain people where they can walk into a room and change the vibe of that room. Some people, they walk into a room, you never remember that they existed. But Scottie Barnes has a very big presence about him, which means people notice him, right? And when it's going really well, like it was at the end of his rookie year, it's all kumbaya. It's all great because it's elevating everybody. But when it's going bad, it has the exact opposite effect. When he sits and if he sulks on the bench, literally you can feel the force field change around the team. So this is going to come with time for him, just as it has for everyone else like him or everyone else who's had this affliction or problem. I certainly had this problem. And I don't like putting on a front. I don't like having to construct myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of the mentality of take it or leave it. Like if you're not going to deal with me on my bad days, you don't deserve me on my good days. But the truth is that in a professional setting and in a team environment or in a public setting, sometimes you do need to be mindful of how your actions are impacting other people. I apologize. And so I say this to say that I'm wrong. He does need to grow up a little bit, to come out and just simply say, hey, whatever, this is a symptom of being 22, when I myself was doing that shit when I was 30. No, this is not a symptom of just being 22. There are plenty of 22-year-olds who don't do this. And there are plenty of 35-year-olds who do this, right? And he's a passionate person. What I will not apologize for and what I do not agree with is the extent of the media backlash that went on. the things that were said and how they were said. It's okay to have an issue with him not getting back on defense or him complaining to referees. Certainly, you should have had an issue with any player or any coach doing that constantly, because everyone is feeding off of your energy. I'm a very big believer in stoicism, and I believe that even Darko, when he gets super hyper, on the sidelines and he starts pacing up and down, I believe that he himself needs to grow up a little bit and not do that. Kind of still waters, right? Just keep yourself like composed. And that's not only managing your words, it's regulating your emotions, right? Because I'll tell you, like, like in the heat of the moment, you can get mad at anything or anybody. And some of us learn to control our words. Like, we know there's a line, you don't cross that line. You don't call this person a B word. You don't call this person an A word. You don't swear at your boss, etc. We know that we can't cross the line by word. But do we not cross the line with our body language, our sighs, our rolling of our eyes, our shift, our energy? Because I tell you right now, there's a considerable amount of literature and data to suggest that telling a child with really great energy, like really great positive energy, and just smiling and saying, "You're an idiot," versus telling them with a scowl and a lot of negative energy and a deeper voice to go to their room, that the go to your room threatens the child more. And that therein lies the intention of the action, right? You ever had someone be like, "You're such a goof," right? It's how you say it, but that's tone, that's body language, that's energy. So while some people may be able to not tell off their boss, what they don't realize is their body language is telling off their boss. Their eyes are telling off their boss. Their hand gestures or their tone of voice or their lack of eye contact is telling off their boss. So there's a way to be, and I understand that as someone myself who's not very good at constructing myself, I have a certain empathy for people who are like that too, where Scottie can't just put on a front and be some completely different person. And it's one thing to admire that about him, that he's a genuine person, and that's a good thing. But it's also something worth noting for him that if you don't learn to regulate your emotions a little bit better, you have to deal with the consequences that it will affect your teammates. That's it, you know. and by the way, being older does not guarantee that you figure this out. LeBron James has a lot of negative body language from time to time. You know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. Some people just don't grow out of it. He's remarkably mature in every other way. So what I don't appreciate is like people dissecting him to the extent where you're ascribing things to him. We had a coach, an Olympic coach or whatever, come on this show a year ago and say Scottie is not very smart. And I was just like, how do you know? We had the media saying last year that he didn't work hard. I'm like, how do you know? So really, I'm not even reacting to what they're saying yesterday. I'm reacting to like what feels like 2.5 years of an attempt to frame this guy as something that he's not, because I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a really good guy. And I think he means extremely well. And I think he cares very much about his coaches and his teammates. And I don't think that he would ever knowingly do anything to hurt those people, So if he's unknowingly done it, then I think that there's a way to deal with that. And I don't think pitchforking him and, calling him out and blasting him publicly and, saying that he should be suspended, I don't think that's the right thing. I don't think I can think of another player ever who's been suspended for something so innocuous. And you say, "Oh, Pascal Siakam got suspended, for whatever. He got benched the next game for leaving the bench for 25 seconds." And I'm telling you, these people are not telling you the full story about what happened there. And I hope one day that full story comes out. Because there was more to that story, and there's a lot more to that story. And if you actually go watch him leaving, you'll see that there was way more to that story than him just dipping out 2 seconds early. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to some callers. Araf, what's going on, man? Hello? Your mic's off.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Couple of thoughts. It was nice seeing Pascal receive that ovation. I think,
Sure.
I have a beef with Van Vliet, but I like Pascal. Just sucks that he wasn't as young, so he couldn't continue with Scottie for more years. But we have to move on. I think Scottie was fouled on a couple of occasions. Obviously, he didn't get the call because he's bigger, but I just kind of feel frustrated because all these big Scotty games end up in losses. I think the last one that I can remember that was a win was that San Antonio game back in October, November.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of sad. I mean, ultimately we're rebuilding, retooling, but we move on.
I mean, we shot
And
23% from three. That's certainly not all him, right? Didn't help that he went 0 for 4,
yeah,
but like, you know what I mean? If guys are getting going, he's gonna let them cook, right?
yeah.
He's not getting in anyone's way, is what I'm saying.
No, I
So
know. It's just like it sucks that the team's not able to pull through. When Scotty's having these games, like
yeah,
that's what I meant.
yeah.
But yeah, the last thing probably, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of seeing Gary get the starting job. I think it's time to let Gradey at least have a shot at it. He had 21 minutes today. I think that should be ramping up to 25 and soon to 30 because he's just too good to not get enough minutes. I think, and
Cool.
plus Grady's gonna. I mean, Gary's gonna be a free agent anyways. I think he's gonna walk. Boucher should, I think, start being in the rotation again to maybe build up his value for trading at the next deadline.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
like, I don't know. History has taught us that for every game like this, you get, a couple bad games too. So I don't know. I think at 31, he might be a little less in the cards than 27-year-old Bruce Brown. It's not always about age. That's fair, but yeah.
yeah, and then also I guess now it's just the All-Star break, and I think he has 4 days of rest after the All-Star game, so
Yeah,
hopefully that
it
does
should
his
be
body
good.
a bit well. And I think I saw like you said that his shot was always short at the front rim for his threes, and I think I saw that today. I noticed that, so I think it's just wear and tear, and hopefully get some rest after the All-Star break, and we can have like a bit of a push. I don't know how far we'll get, but reps is reps.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, man?
Um, good game, good bounce back game from Scotty, and hopefully he enjoys the All-Star break, and we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate it.
No worries, thanks for having.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think as I said it yesterday in one of our Twitter spaces, that I am just very thankful that this break is coming when it's coming for him because I think he needs it. This ability to just get away. I realized that in my rambling rant, I forgot to talk about the team stats. So let's look at the team stats real quick. The Raptors win the possession battle by 1. They get much, they got better on the offensive glass. I think a lot of that was Jakob Poeltl, Scottie Barnes, etc. 15 offensive rebounds. Unfortunately, turnovers, right? Did them in. They edge out the turnover margin by 7, and ultimately it's 3-point shooting, right? The Pacers took way more threes. They made way more threes, and that's the game. You shoot better than them. You obviously shoot better in the paint, but I think this is a clash in ideologies. Obviously, the Pacers like to shoot a lot of threes. They got Doug McDermott. They had Buddy Hield. They don't have Buddy Hield anymore. They got Tyrese Halliburton. They got a lot of guys who take threes. Obi Toppin takes threes. Jarris Walker, he didn't play tonight. He takes threes. Jalen Smith, he didn't play tonight. He takes threes. All right, Ben Mathurin, he didn't play tonight. He takes threes. Oh my gosh, this could have been so much worse. There are a lot of guys who didn't play tonight who take a lot of threes. So they managed to hang 41 threes on 41% shooting. I don't think the Raptors defense was very good. Yeah, so I think that's all worth noting. Let's see. I'm trying to think what I should do here. We're about 29 minutes in. I could go to the post game. I could go to the promo, or I could go to the next caller. Tell you what, I'm gonna go to the promo. It's a short thing that Hey, Zigsaw Puzzle, I appreciate you. It's a little gift for this community. I've been playing that same trailer over and over and over again, so I figured, hey, we have an actual trailer for you guys to see now, and it's an actual trailer of a film that's coming. And the bonus part is it's coming on Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon next Saturday. So it's not All-Star Weekend; it's next Saturday, and it's so up your alley, guys. It's a film about sports betting, and it's fucking awesome. It's really cool. It's got a lot of attitude, and guess what? It's a world premiere, so you be the first person to see it. Here's the best part: you get free tickets. I get you free tickets for the first 50 people. We're looking to pack it. The director's he's coming from Europe. It's a super sick film. So if you want free tickets to that, if you want to take your lady to an afternoon screening, Saturday afternoon, you can definitely check it out. Yeah, check this out. All right.
They're off. Cube had a good beginning. So too did Red Buell. Red Buell to the front. Amistad is there on the outside. Then it's Hallstatt, followed by Deft along the rail. Bridge to the Future is next, and then Lone Pioneer, who's 6 lengths off the lead, clear 2.5 from Power Boss. Lid's Boy to the inside, and Don Chicho is last. Up the backstretch, Red Mule the leader, 3/4 of a length ahead of Deft running in second as the field moves for the far turn. And then it's Cube in third, 22.97 that first quarter mile. Amistad is fourth on the outside. Behind that one is Power Boss. And then come Don Chicho and Lid's Boy. They're coming to the top of the stretch, 45, 3.5. For front running Red Buell. There by two. No. And then toward the inside, it's Hallstatt.
This is gonna fucking make us. This is the thing.
Pioneer, they're all chasing the Red Buell. Hallstatt, a long shot, makes a late.
Ow! No fucking excuse, Jose! Go on, Jose! Get up, Jose!
The hook is that they're bred to run and they're bred to lose. They were invented to lose.
This is the plight of man. First you gotta sink really low and get in slime. And from slime, that's how man was created.
How would you like to go to the world premiere of that film and meet the director who made it? That's a pretty dope proposition. Link is in the description. Also, there's an art house film that is from Turkey. I don't know a lot of Turkish people. We don't have a lot of nets into the Turkish community. I thought to myself, this is a pretty cool thing. A Thursday night screening of Ararat. It was at the Berlinale Film Festival. That is also open to this offer of free tickets. It's a completely different type of film, but I promise you there's plenty of badassery in that one too.
Söylesene. Neden kaçtın?
Er war betrunken, ich war müde, das Auto hat sich überschlagen.
Neden kaçtın?
Bist du taub?
Otur aşağı.
Ich bin morgen hier weg.
Otur.
Halt die Klappe.
Otur.
Halt die Klappe.
So you use this promo code. No, God damn it. Okay, use this promo code. Come on, man. Get me to the finish line. Use this promo code. Pensar Basketball 100 is for the people who check out these lives, who are part of this community. If you want to check out something art house, you go for Thursday. You want to check out a bit of a gangster flick about, some guys who are doing some sports betting that's really well acted and really cool, and a world premiere, and meet the director. You check out Saturday afternoon. It's my small gift to you. I'm not a rich guy. It's what I can do for this community. So that's what I can do. If you have a person in your life that loves movies and they like world premieres, yo, man, world premieres are not they don't happen every day, right? So it's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely check it out. I hope to see you there. And bonus, you get to meet the face that you've been listening to talk about basketball like literally for the last year. So that's cool too. Yeah. Okay, cool. Moving on from that, let's take one more caller and then we will go to the post game. Lil John, what up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
When I came on like 2 days ago, my internet connection went out. So yeah, I didn't turn off on you like. But listen, before we talk about the game, I wanted to speak about. So, I was complaining last time about Scottie's, his energy and stuff, but I didn't realize how. This was before the suspension talk came out. So, like before we talk about the game, I can't believe how overblown that situation they were trying to make it. Like I just can't believe it. It blows my mind. Like sitting on it, like they really wanted to suspend him. And like Josh Lewenberg, he wrote an article about how the Raptors missed an opportunity to set like an example, as if him not playing, like he's 22, like he should be playing. When Siakam did that, he was 26. It was a different coaching staff, different regime, different situation. We don't know what happened. And clearly
that's a big point because you really don't know what happened, right?
We don't know what happened.
Scottie just kind of drifted off, right? He just drifted off. He didn't yell at anybody. He didn't foul out to get out of the game. He didn't storm off. It wasn't 25 seconds. There's a lot of different context involved. And it was an isolated incident that he's probably, by my recollection, he's never left before the buzzer before. So this might have been like an interesting, like test for him to see how far he could take this. And he got a firm talking to, and just the dissection of everything. There's no benefit of doubt given to him ever on anything, not 1 inch is given to this guy. He has to earn it all. Yep. And yeah, it's weird to me. He thoroughly outplayed Pascal Siakam tonight. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And all I'm going to hear about
way
is
better
6 turnovers. Yeah, he was like Pascal Siakam was a sieve defensively.
Pascal, I'm telling you, I think I mentioned this to you before. Like Pascal, I feel bad for him because they're trying to like put him in a time machine and get him to defend like he was 6 years ago. Like he's not that guy anymore. He's getting blown by at the point of attack and he's fouling. Like remember a couple years ago he had like a fouling epidemic?
Yeah, I do.
It was back. Like whenever he tries to play defense, he just starts fouling.
Facts. 100%. We saw it earlier this year where he would pick up like 2-3 quick fouls. I think we've seen it in the playoffs a couple times. Yeah, for sure. And we saw it tonight too, where he started
because
to
he
get
can't stay in front.
Exactly.
All right,
I mean, like Scottie just put him on skates, took him off the dribble from 25 feet. And we've always been, look, I don't want to rate it too much. Obviously, the Raptors lost, but Scottie thoroughly outplayed him. Like it was classes of difference in how they played. And they were playing the same role for their teams. Yeah. So it wasn't like, oh, one guy's playing one role, the other guy's playing the other role. Maybe Scottie had the ball a little bit more. What'd you think of Scottie running point for most tonight?
Listen, whenever he had the ball in his hands, the Raptors got a really good shot. Either he made the basket, he missed a really easy shot at the rim, or he made a terrific pass. I feel like his 6 turnovers weren't like, it's kind of disingenuous because it didn't really feel like he had 6 turnovers because some of his turnovers were like good. Like some of them were. 2 of them happened. One happened where he tried to save an out of bounds pass, which he just threw to T.J. McConnell. He didn't need to do that, but that's not really a turnover. And then he had another one at the end of the quarter when he tried to throw a full court pass. Again, that's good process. Like he's always trying to push the limit, which is good. So he had 2 terrible turnovers at the end, but he was making some really nice passes. He had a terrific pass to Gradey Dick in the corner. When he pushed the ball in the transition, like he was really good. And whenever he had the ball tonight, the Raptors got a great shot.
I agree. Yeah, I think their offensive process right now is a little too predictable. But when you get some reps and you get some plays and you get maybe a little bit more talent and a bit more finishing talent, and he can get his jumper back. Like, can you imagine like some of the reads he's making right now and the opportunity he has if his jumper was feeling as wet as it was earlier in the year?
Like, this is the Scottie that I've been waiting for. He's gonna be in triple double territory like every game. He should have had one last game, but he just was really bad. And
we're talking about. Look at his averages across 3 games.
I know it's like 19, 9, and 9 or something.
More.
Yeah. So
he's averaging over like his last 3 games. The first one was what was it? Something 10 and 10, right?
Yeah, like 25, 10 and 10 or something.
Yeah, so he had 25, 10 and 10, 7, 9 and 9, and then now he's had 29.
And
Holy shit.
If you do
his numbers over the last 3 games balance out to like fucking MVP numbers. And it's crazy that the entire week that the context is that in the middle of all of this, that we were just talking like how he's not really all that. It's crazy.
Because with great ability comes great responsibility. Like,
sure,
the fact that he's 28-6 and played really good defense, and this is the worst version of him, and he's made the All-Star team, like, speaks volumes. This is the worst version of him, and he's already like one of the 30 best players in the NBA. So
yeah,
it's kind of wild. But as far as the game, I thought the ending of the game was kind of wild. Like, didn't it feel like there was just so much crazy, bizarre stuff? Like, Jakob got fouled. He made both free throws. RJ misses both free throws after pumping the crowd up. Scottie has a couple very, very bad turnovers. His foot's on the line. There was some wide open Gary Trent misses. It was just, for some, I don't know who doubled off of Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know who
Scottie.
did that. No, I don't think it was Scottie. I think Scottie was like on the weak side, on the other side. I don't think it was Scottie. But someone doubled off.
Scottie literally did this right after, and he said, "My bad."
Oh no, I think he might have been the guy who should have went and
he should have gone. Yeah. He's not the one who lost him, but he should have rotated out.
Yeah, but no one should have doubled off of him though, to start with, right? Or maybe that's the coverage. Who knows?
For sure. You're right.
It was Pascal, so I get it. And we can't defend at all. He's literally torching Gary and RJ. But yeah,
I just think like the Raptors are playing like 3 guys together almost at all times, who have no business being like the 3rd best defender on a good defense. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
RJ, Immanuel Quickley, Gradey Dick right now, Nawara, Bruce Brown, all of these guys cannot function as your 3rd best defender, and you can expect to be great unless your 1st best defender is Rudy Gobert and your 2nd best defender is Michael Jordan.
Yeah. All right. This is a pick. Who would you rather have as the Raptors starting point guard? Andrew Nembhard or Immanuel Quickley?
Quickley. By far.
Why? Are you 100% sure about that?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. I think I'd take Quickley, but I'm not 100% sure about it because I'm watching them tonight, and I don't think Nembhard can get into the paint with ease. Now, he has nowhere near the jump shot, but he can get into paint, and he's a way better passer, and he's a way better defender. And they're the same age.
You think he's a way better defender?
Yeah, man, he's a way better. Like, Nembhard can actually guard bigger guys. He knows how to get underneath guys. He does.
I don't think he's a way better defender at all.
Listen, Quickley outside of the Tibbs system is, I don't know what he is.
Let me show you something that might change your mind on this. This is Andrew Nembhard's analytics profile. You don't have to agree with everything here, but it's pretty bad. It's actually pretty abysmal if you think about it. Okay.
No, it is. Listen, Quickley's a darling. He's an analytics darling.
He's not really an analytics darling other than the shooting profile, but just give me 1 second and let me pull up Immanuel Quickley 1 sec. I think you'll see the difference.
I have a crazy Quickley stat for you.
Sure, go ahead.
You know he has the highest plus minus in Knicks history?
Irrelevant.
Like that's how good he was as a Knick. But it's just, he was destroying backups.
That's the point. But he's not destroying backups right now. So this is Immanuel Quickley.
But how much of that is as a Knick though?
Oh, Okay, fair enough. At least 2/3 of this is as a Knick. But I promise you, it's his offense has gotten actually a little bit better as a Raptor. His defense has gotten worse as a Raptor.
His passing has been not surprising, but it's been like a present surprise. Like there's been some nice flashes, but
Dude, passing is literally one of the only things that's holding him back right now because his shot quality is at 98th percentile, dude. His
So
free throw attempt rate is decent. 3-point attempt rate is great. His load and creation can get higher. I promise you, this number is going up, bro. It's going from 91st percentile to probably 94th percentile next year. And this number, if it can go from 55th percentile to maybe 66th, he was at 65th when he got here. He's gone to 55th. What does that tell you about the defender he's been as a Raptor? He's been terrible. I promise you, he's a better defender than Andrew Nembhard, though.
Oh,
Nembhard is just a bigger defender, but
I
he's a
disagree with
better
that.
defender.
I
Yeah, that's
disagree.
cool. That's cool.
But maybe like Quickley, he does a lot of help stuff, and like he's like the teacher's pet defensive player.
I mean, like they're like
he just nails all the rotations. But I just think Nembhard is just naturally just better. He's bigger.
I think like you can make a case that the top end potential of Andrew Nembhard as a defender is better than Immanuel Quickley. And maybe, we're seeing a little bit more of the type of defender that Immanuel Quickley really is when he's not flanked by great defenders all around him.
Yeah,
right?
that's my point.
But
and Nembhard has terrible defenders around him.
That's fair. So I think like as a team defender, I guess it depends on what you're asking them to do,
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't think offensively they're close. And I've seen the best of Andrew Nembhard as well. They're also the same age. So I think like, again, like you can make a case that Andrew Nembhard's just a little bit bigger, and he's definitely a better passer. I'll give him that. He's definitely a better passer.
And he touches the paint a lot. Like for someone who can't score that well, for some reason he gets into the paint.
But see, the same thing you say about his defense. You excuse the defense. You have to also understand the offense. Look at the system he's playing in. Look at how much space and shooters he has.
That's fair.
If Immanuel Quickley was playing in that system, bro, he would be going nuts.
No, that's
Immanuel Quickley getting feeds from Tyrese Halliburton. Like you got to understand, like Andrew Nembhard here would not be this Andrew Nembhard.
That's
Anyways,
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, no final thoughts. Basically just hopefully they play Gradey instead of Gary. That's it. And then hopefully Scottie can just continue to put up these triple doubles as I know he can.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for calling in, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, let's go to the post game and then we'll get to the final two callers.
You had a bit more time on Pascal, on you than a few of them. What was it like to play him?
Kind of weird, emotional, seeing his thing at the top, it was emotional, but we're both really good competitors, and we both want to win, and we're gonna take it to the floor every time we step on the floor. It's real competitive today. It felt amazing though. They were real competitive. We was real competitive. Both teams just really want to win.
I know obviously not the result you wanted. Did you guys need a performance like that to go into All-Star break feeling a bit better about yourself?
We didn't get the result we wanted, but we played hard throughout the whole game. Ran the floor really well, getting easy buckets in transition, getting to the paint, moving the ball. Got a lot of assists. We had knocked down some shots, but we were still moving the ball and trying to get to the spots we really wanted to be on the floor. We just got to keep getting better each and every single day and try to win. That's the ultimate goal at the end of the day.
How much of your intention coming into the game was to sort of really get to the basket, get to the paint early, and kind of set a tone maybe a bit?
They're a fast-paced team. They give up a lot of points in the paint. We already knew that, so we just want to attack, run in transition, and try to get easy ones as possible. We want to start the game strong, and throughout the whole game, that's what our attack was. Just keep trying to run in transition, keep getting easy paint touches for kickouts, move the ball. That was our main goal.
How do you balance sort of your decision making when it's come in looking to pass or on a specific play versus looking sort of to take it yourself and score?
It depends on how the defense is. If they help, I'm looking to pass. If they don't help, I'm looking to get to the rim. Just try to make the right read every single time when I come down the floor.
Have you given yourself much chance to think about playing your first All-Star game?
Think about it probably tonight, focus on the season right now, but, we got some time off, so probably think about it tonight. Still surreal to me, still crazy. It's crazy. Being able to play an All-Star game, it's a dream, I guess. Nothing I really thought about, but, it's a dream, I guess. But, I'm just so happy. I'm blessed. I'm excited to go out there in Indy. See a lot of people I know, I've been to the rookie sophomore game the past 2 years, and I had an amazing experience. So being able to play an All-Star game, I already know it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun weekend. Just enjoy it, soak it in, be with family for my first All-Star game. So it's going to be a good get-together, have some friends out there. And then you just see so many faces that you don't really see throughout the whole season. People in the NBA that that does the stuff behind the scenes that, I've seen since I was at the draft combine. So get to see those guys, see so many people out there. It's gonna be a fun experience getting to see everybody that does the work behind the scenes and things like that as well.
Darko, you certainly got a good bounce back effort on those last couple of minutes, couple of missed plays there, just not be able to finish off a close game again.
I mean, I thought that we competed on a high level throughout the course of whole game. There at the end, a couple of possessions that we could finish a little bit different to get better look maybe. But I thought that we also in the last 5 minutes got 3 wide open threes that we missed. If we made one of those, it would be a completely different story. On the last play, we were looking for a three. I think that watching a film now, I think that pass was probably there, but we did not execute it the way we wanted on that play. Congrats to Indiana. They found a way to close the game.
You talked before you about Scottie being more assertive. He sort of looked like he was looking to score right from the start. He got in the paint pretty much anytime he wanted to. That's the kind of downhill play you want from him?
Absolutely. We want him to be a dominant player like that, but he also had 8 assists and 12 rebounds tonight. We need Scottie who's going to be playing with that kind of force. Does not matter who the opponent is. And this was a great experience for him to bounce back from the last game and to have a chance to compare what those 2 games look like. And I thought that he did a really good job today. I thought that Quick was much better, balanced game. I was hoping that he's going to get a couple more shots, but he was so focused of trying to get to the rim and then score in the paint. But overall, another good game from him as well.
You've been talking about Chris Boucher's professionalism through these last few weeks as he's been out of the rotation. Is this a good example of what you were talking about, just kind of taking advantage of that opportunity?
Absolutely, and Chris Boucher is a young player, 31 years old veteran, and he's putting the work in. He's great in play groups. We had great conversation last couple of days of expectations from him. I still want more from him. I still want him to be more disciplined in some defensive execution there that we talked about during the game, and that's going to be a great challenge for him going forward, how he can improve in those areas. But definitely Chris is a player that can step on the floor and help us.
Scottie, in that fourth quarter before he got on the court, was standing up a lot on the bench, calling out coverages, it looked like. You talked about the bounce back on the court. Did that feel like a bounce back off the court from him?
Absolutely. It did. He had a great voice with the whole team today. He was lifting his teammates, We talked about it. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be a journey. I don't expect from him to be perfect, but I expect him to learn from his mistakes and not to make the same mistakes. I want him to make a different mistake and to learn from that one and get better, and to get another mistake and learn from that one and move forward. And I have a feel that Scottie's heart is in the right place and that he wants to be exactly that. So with 32 years old, there is just a bunch of opportunities for him to grow as a leader, as a player, as a man, as a brother, as a son, all of that.
There was a lovely video tribute for Pascal Siakam pre-game. How do you manage your team's emotions after a player on the visiting team gets, a big ovation from the fans, and it could be a distraction?
Me personally, I did not feel it as a distraction. I felt it as homage to our friend and ex-teammate. Everybody in this organization, players, coaches, everybody have a lot of love and a lot of respect for Siakam. So I don't think that created any kind of emotions that could get in our focus of the game.
Thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel.
It never, ever gives you an opportunity to get out before Jalen McDaniels takes over your screen and tells you to subscribe. All right, let's get to our final two callers. Nassif and Kdyer. Can you pronounce that for me? Kadir?
Hey, yeah. Hey, Rob.
Hey, is it Kadir?
No, you can just say it's Kamar.
It's Kamar.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You don't know why you wrote Kdyer.
Okay. Username. I was like, okay, cool.
Okay, Nassif and Kamar, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good as well.
Yep. Okay, so what'd you think of the game? Also, whoever has background noise, if you can mute yourself when you're not talking.
Yeah, so honestly, I enjoyed the game. I think what a lot of people are missing is that these guys are young. These guys have played, X amount of games. It's been 3 weeks since everything's been finished with the trades, etc. That we have to give these guys time. We can't expect so much of Scottie at the moment, to the point where it's like, we put him at a level that he should be like a Kevin Durant or a Giannis. You know what I mean? And yeah, and honestly, one thing as well, even IQ, give him time. Honestly, I see spurts of just moments where you know he's going to be something great, and give him time to kind of settle in. And I really hope that honestly Immanuel feels comfortable here in Toronto. He has a good relationship with the guys, and that there's a good chemistry going on. Honestly, I feel like he's underrated in a way.
I think he's underrated too. I think he'll be fine. I am a little bit worried that he doesn't seem to process the game at a super high level, if that makes sense. There's a lot of skill, and there isn't a great deal of advanced understanding of what's happening on the basketball court. I don't think it's something that's been talked about. I think a lot of people talk about him stopping a step short, etc. But I think there's plenty of examples where you can see that the defense shifts and he doesn't know what to do about it. I think it'll be an adjustment for him how to dissect that, because the best point guards and best guards in the league, they're able to capitalize when the defense makes a mistake. He doesn't see the mistakes very often. Now, I wonder if this is somewhat of a physical limitation, because he doesn't see over the defender, and he obviously draws a lot of attention when he penetrates, right? He's never open. He's
I was
never
gonna say maybe it's because it's playing starters first time.
I mean, yeah, that's stated, and a lot of people say that, but then there are a ton of games in New York where he played 30, 32 minutes, and so you have to ask yourself, was he not playing against starters for the vast majority of those minutes? He closed a lot of games for New York. He has started games in New York. So it's not completely that. I think it's just, number one, adjusting to the lack of talent that he's around, for the first time. You know what I mean? Like if Scottie Barnes was shooting 40% from three right now, like, yeah, like let's be honest, those are very, very good players. And then, both guys, Randall in the past and Brunson this year have a case for all NBA. And, it's not just them though, right? It's Dante DiVincenzo, it's Mitchell Robinson, it's Isaiah Hardenstein, it's Josh Hart, it's a lot of talented players. And let's see if you're having a lot of background noise, my guy. So yeah, so it's a lot of that. And unfortunately, for him, this defensive attention is closing down a lot of angles that he would previously be able to exploit as a fourth option. But now he's like a second option or a third option, and it's just moving up the pecking order. And I'm curious to see if this gets better as the year goes on. I suspect it could.
Honestly, next season.
Yeah,
I think he's playing a different game entirely. Like, yeah, he's like the usual shit he does in the court is not the same as he is on the Raptors. I felt, because on the Knicks he did a lot of transition fast break threes or like driving floaters and all that. But I don't think he does that a lot less because he's trying new stuff under Darko. I think that's why we have to have patience with him.
That's a really fair point too. He is trying new things, and clearly he's being more of an on-ball, facilitator, distributor. They're trying to give him that role, and it's not always perfect, right? There are times where he'll be, going down in transition, and there's a guy who's open and he misses it, right? There's times where RJ, also does miss it. It's interesting to hear Darko Rajakovic say that their last play they wanted a three. And that they think that he thinks that pass was there and the Raptors just didn't make it. That's basically saying RJ Barrett didn't make the pass. I think RJ got a great shot. It's a shot that I've seen him make before. I don't really have a problem with him taking that shot. But if the play was to get a three, I'm curious to go back and look at that play and see like who was actually open. And given the fact that the Raptors had missed 3 straight threes, would you have made that one? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's all worth noting. Yeah. Kumar and Nassif, any final thoughts, man?
Oh yeah, also Gradey. Okay, you can go first.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I appreciate RJ, man. He's a dog. I appreciate his attitude. I do.
Sure,
his
yeah.
attitude is there. His heart's there.
I think Gradey
there is, the rumors may be true. They may be true. I see the argument. It may be valid. But his points somehow get there. I don't know how he does it though. His points get there. That's the fun part. The rumors that, as in, like, he may not be as consistent or he may be flaky. You know what I mean? It's like he may not be dependable.
These are numbers. These
But
are
then
his
how's the
numbers.
numbers there? Like somehow, like it happens, and I understand. Like he'll finish up a game with like 20 points. I'm like, wait, how do you do that then?
What are you saying? RJ stat hunting?
No, I don't think he's stat hunting. But I also think like it would be foolish to consider him like some sort of great player. I mean, here's his analytics profile for you to put it into perspective. The true shooting. And I mean, this is, by the way, after he got way better with the Raptors, just to put this all into perspective, right? Like this is the player we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who struggles rebounding the basketball at times. We're talking about a guy who has issues with shot quality, issues with efficiency. He gets to the line a lot and he handles the ball a lot, and that's the package for a low efficiency scorer. And he's been more efficient as a Raptor, but he's so inefficient as a Knick that true shooting percentage is still down. I would argue these numbers as a Raptor are probably closer to, like, his defense is still the same, but his offense as a Raptor is probably more in the 80th percentile, maybe in the 75th to 77th percentile. But it's not a superstar. It's not a star. It's not an all-star. It's just a capable 23-year-old who can hopefully grow into more.
So what,
Uh,
Rob? We just accept it, and like we don't hope that he develops.
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
I think his
Okay,
next step
no,
is
fine.
becoming a passer because he can draw the double team. Now he has to
We've
find the open guy.
seen a lot of flashes of really good passing from him. You know, there was a game where he had 7 assists, and I think he was really dropping some dimes in that game. You know,
Mm.
but like you got to like consider like this is Kyle Kuzma. You know, in a nutshell, this is Kyle Kuzma's analytics profile. It's very similar. It's very similar. It's like this is the player type that you're talking about, right? And Kyle Kuzma, you know, finished top 10 in All-Star voting, and he's a very, very, in my opinion, negative player. You need to round out some of the parts of RJ's game that make him Kuzma-like. The tunnel vision, the lack of efficiency, the shot quality, etc. And those are the things that can actually make him better.
No, honestly, you're right. That's such a good comparison.
Yeah, so like, but that's my point. Is like, you know, like Kyle Kuzma is the number 2 option or number 1 option in Washington, and it's like him as the number 2 or number 1 option on your team is going to lead to a lot of losing because he doesn't have like a lot of the advantage generation stuff that typical first options do. And the fact is that the truth could be that could be said about like 100 different players in the league. We only talk about RJ Barrett's on this team, but what if on this team you had a Colin Sexton,
A Kyle Kuzma.
or Kyle Kuzma? Would Kyle Kuzma not be dropping 25 on the regular for the Raptors? Of course he would. Would Jordan Poole be dropping 25 on the regular for the Raptors? Of course he would. Colin Sexton? Hell yeah. Who else would drop 25 on the regular for the Raptors? Cam Thomas, Jordan Clarkson. Man, if we got Malik Monk, this fan base would think he was a superstar. He's still the fourth. Mikal Bridges is not in this conversation. Mikal Bridges is a really good player. Malik Monk's a really good player too. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a first option, right? But as a third option, he's unlocked. So really, you already have like 2 guys like RJ and Immanuel Quickley who are exactly in the same role, which is their ideal role is like the 4th option, right? Can you grow one of them into a 3rd option because they can become so deadly as shooters? Great. Yes. Okay. So that's good. Now, can you find a 2nd option?
Or develop Gradey into a 2nd option.
Yeah. And I mean, like some of the reads that Gradey made tonight and the reads he's been making, they show me that he actually has a chance to do that.
No, Gradey can shoot.
Yeah, the shooting is obvious. I think to most people, you know, they think
it's defense. It's like he just needs to be heavier, and like he has the vision. He just needs to be heavier and like be able to not bite on the pump fakes.
His screen navigation, his length, his athleticism, fluidity, you know, all of these things are very positive. I've been also encouraged by him taking bumps and like still finishing at the rim. Like his rim finishing has been so much better. Like we talked a lot about OG Anunoby's rim finishing earlier this year, how he was getting better. Well, Gradey Dick's gotten a lot better at finishing around the rim. Like we saw that one little reverse layup, I think 3 games ago that he did. And then
tonight.
Pardon? Yeah,
he had a nice one today as well.
Tonight he had a couple nice ones. So yeah, I think he's been really, really good, and he's trending in all the positive directions. And again, he's the guy who will really benefit from playing with better players. I think he's really benefited the last couple games playing with guys like Kelly Olynyk, you know, playing with guys like Bruce Brown.
I love that trade.
Why didn't he play Kelly much?
Kelly was injured.
Oh, Kelly was injured.
I didn't know that.
I was wondering. I was like, why isn't he playing?
Yeah, he went to the locker room.
That makes sense why we played Chris Boucher.
I have to say I love that trade. Kelly brings such a nice vibe to the team and chemistry and just IQ that we need in a center. He brings that Gasol type player, type center. Like, oh my goodness. And also, I was going to say, I would love for the Kansas boys to kind of flash out Abachi and Gradey.
What do you mean?
I would love Abachi to break out.
Okay, it's funny because you're calling him Abachi,
Abachi.
It's Agbagi. It's Agbagi. And
Abachi.
Abachi sounds a little bit like hibachi. Like Gilbert Arenas, hibachi. We've been flashing the crafted analytics a lot. This is Kelly Olynyk in a nutshell. He's a really good player. Awesome. His true shooting is in the 95th percentile, shot quality in the 79th percentile, free throw rate in the 71st percentile. He is exactly the perfect fourth option on a really good team. So yeah, you have a lot of really good fourth options on a really good team right now.
I think we might be able to finish developing this year. This year and then go into
we're pretty much a piece away at this point. We're one piece away. We're one really, really good piece away.
And we have cap space for that, right?
Yeah, like hopefully. Yeah, like you're like who would that player be? One really good piece. At least as good as Mikal Bridges. No, Donovan Mitchell is an extreme because Donovan Mitchell would come in and be your first option. So I mean, like if Scottie were to slide down to a second option, then yeah, maybe you consider Donovan Mitchell. But in terms of like the framework of Scottie being the first option, your second option can't be like significantly worse than him. And right now he is. So I think your second option could be like, for now it could be like a 1A, 1B type of situation. And for that player, I think it would be like someone like Mikal Bridges. Who else? Not that I would say this, but DeMar DeRozan, like that level of player, like that level of scorer. And weirdly enough, you kind of had that in Pascal Siakam, but maybe you need like a guy who can actually defend. So maybe like Jaylen Brown.
Pascal was
he didn't really defend. You thought he was so bad? I thought he was okay. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen way worse.
He was getting cooked by IQ, Scottie, and Jakob. Like, I know he played worse for us, but he looked even worse against us because I know how bad sometimes our offense was. In that perspective, Pascal's defense was really bad.
Yeah. I mean, Pascal Siakam's been kind of regressing as a defender for the last 3.5 years. I've been calling it every step of the way. People didn't want to hear me out, thinking, hey, this guy's just going to become some great defender for Indiana. But I mean, like, this is the truth of Pascal Siakam as a defender. His block percentage is in the 10th percentile.
Did they regress Indiana's defense because of him? Or
no, he's replacing Obi Toppin. He's replacing Bruce Brown. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, Pascal Siakam might be not a great defender, but he's still significantly better than RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley. So in a weird way, like the Raptors defense will get worse because aggregate putting, Siakam out there is definitely more beneficial to your defense from a rebounding, point of attack, help defensive size perspective than having RJ or Immanuel Quickley. You have RJ, you have Immanuel Quickley, you have a very young Gradey Dick, you have a not fully developed Scottie Barnes, and you have Jakob Poeltl kind of clogging the middle. And unless Jakob and Scottie play out of their minds, you're going to be a bottom 10 defense. Just how it is. You cannot lose this many good defenders, Precious, OG, and Siakam. You can't lose all of them and replace them with Bruce Brown, Immanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett. Kelly Olynyk is the first pause. I think Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbagi are like two positive defenders that came back in all of these trades. Bruce Brown's decent sometimes. I think RJ and Immanuel Quickley have a ways to go. But in terms of like the comparables, like in terms of like some of the players that, play Immanuel Quickley's position, he's by no means the worst defender at all. Like he's not anywhere close to Trae Young, Dame Lillard, who else? Anthony Simons. Like he's not even close to those guys. Like he tries. He's just not he's not doing great right now, is what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyways, Nassif, any final words, man?
I don't. Maybe we need to. Whenever Kelly comes back, we need to see a bit more of how they would mesh together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have a state. I don't know if we're gonna get to 30 wins this year. We need to get out of that 6th spot because right now we're tied with Memphis for 6th, going into the All-Star break. And I think to break out, we would need, 14 wins probably just to clear 6th, like stay below 6th. Because Charlotte's also going on a run right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all.
Take a look at the screen for a second and watch what happens when I click on Immanuel Quickley. Okay, right now we're looking at Pascal Siakam, right?
Yeah.
Look at Immanuel Quickley.
It's not much, but wait.
It's like the same player. It's very similar. It's ridiculously similar. Look at that.
Minus 5 years. Like he's probably
minus 5 years, but like in terms of both of them being in the 91st percentile offensively, is kind of wild to me.
That's interesting because, like, you know how we saw him, he did not look that good.
And by the way, this is with Siakam's numbers going up in Indiana. He's been significantly better in Indiana.
Yeah, he's in a better system right now. So
yeah, so it makes you think like what would have happened if Immanuel Quickley had gotten traded to Indiana is what I'm saying. Like I think I brought that up earlier. Like I think he would be so much better there. Like I think overall, like he would
fit really well with Tyrese there.
Yeah, I think maybe they worry about this. By the way, Tyrese Halliburton is a great example of a really bad defender. I think he's a pretty bad defender. I think De'Aaron Fox is not a great defender. I know my buddy Leo thinks he's a good.
Fox is also covered by like other guys. That's like they built around defenders around them. Those guys. Well, not Tyrese because like they're still working on that. I don't think Indiana actually have the defense to answer any team's offense because I think if they score below 105, they always lose the game. That's how bad it is for Indiana right now.
Pretty much, yeah. I think their defense has been bad all year. It's really hard to cover for this many negative defenders. Now they obviously got rid of one very, very big negative defender, which is Buddy Hield. But then they added Doug McDermott. It's not that much better, and they have Pascal Siakam. So yeah, it's a lot of negative defense. Anyways,
sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, take care.
Yeah, take it easy.
See ya. All right. Yeah, so in closing, fun game to watch overall. If you are a fan naturally of, no defense being played, you got a nice little preview of the All-Star game because, of course, the All-Star game is much, much worse players. Scottie presented, by Bobby Webster with the All-Star basketball and got a nice little ovation on that. Zigsaw Puzzle saying no Coach Mo. Actually, Coach Mo messaged me today. Yeah, maybe I don't know. But I'm sure he's listening somewhere. But yeah, give Coach Mo a break, bro. He's been like campaigning against Dennis Schroeder. He deserves a vacation for him finally being gone. Overall, I think the Raptors, played with an interesting pace, and I really like what Darko Rajakovic said, where he said, make new mistakes every day. I really like that philosophy. I believe in it. And, the regression in life happens when you consistently make the same mistakes. And then I think it's exacerbated and made worse when you become defiant about the fact that you're making mistakes. So it's good to fall forward. I don't know how many wrestling fans there are here, but I watched a Scott Hall, I think it was a 30 for 30 documentary. And I grew up a pretty big wrestling fan. If you can't, I don't know if you could tell that from the everything about me, but I did. And it was a really great documentary on him and about him battling addiction and everything. And he referenced something that his father said, which was really, you're going to fall in life, fall forward, right? And I know this statement is not necessarily attributed to his father. I'm sure his father picked it up from somewhere. I've heard this from various sources and different people, throughout my life, this concept of falling forward, but I really like it. I really like this idea of, willing to embrace, like one of the biggest things that stops us from progression in life is a fear of making mistakes. There's a really interesting content creator on, if you stick around for 5 more minutes, I'll actually give you a cool channel update about a conversation that I had today, which was really cool, and maybe just get you guys thoughts on what I should do about it. It was kind of cool. There's this cool content creator who, I don't know if you guys know him. He rides around in a scooter and he has a microwave on his head, and then he opens the microwave. Y'all know who I'm talking about? He's hilarious. Where's my phone? Gotta pull him out. I gotta give that guy a shout out. I don't know if I need to give him a shout out. He's got like 200,000 followers, but he's great. And why am I bringing him up? Yeah, he had this reel that I just stumbled across, and he said, you know, what did he say? He said, if you ain't got haters, God damn it. Hold on. I gotta get my phone. I'm gonna butcher it. I'm gonna butcher it for no reason. Hang on. One sec. We got it. Okay. And then I'll give you a really cool channel update. I think you guys are gonna like it. Okay. Come on, man. Me and technology are just not we're not doing it today, bro. Like, I've been trying to click my phone on for like 3 minutes. The computer crashed on me earlier. I need a new computer so bad. It's not even funny. Okay, hang on. Pull it up. It's a gem. It's a really good piece of advice. God damn it. Here we go. Is my phone gonna die? Is my internet gonna crash? Like, what are we doing here? I have never seen.
Let me tell y'all something. If you don't have haters, it's because success and misfortune has failed you. So do yourself a favor. Gain yourself some haters, you heard?
All of that for that. I ramped that up for 2 minutes, but I hope it sticks. I hope it sticks with you, man, because it's true. You know, you can't be afraid of what people are going to say to you. What would happen to me if I Google my name on Reddit, Toronto? Yikes. That'd be bad. That'd be real bad. It is bad. You can't be afraid of that. You just got to fall forward. You got to be willing to make new mistakes. And I think most of us, you know, when we're growing up, we develop a sort of don't fuck up mentality in life and in general. Like, don't mess up. And I think that it hinders your success, because when you actually get in the room and talk to some of the most successful people in the world, they're not actually defined by their successes. They're actually defined by how they responded to their failures. I think this is a very true thing. I listen to people talk about, like, I used to do a thought experiment. Okay. Imagine you got two people. One person is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or one of those people that really learned how to make their own money, you know, through life and whatever. Mark Zuckerberg, whatever, right? They're still Mark Zuckerberg, but let's say there's another guy who never made any money, didn't have any success, is just wired for, you know, failure in life, okay? Take those two people and swap their bank accounts and swap their net worth. Give the guy who never accomplished anything all of Zuckerberg's money or all of Bill Gates' money. Give Bill Gates nothing. He don't have nothing. Loses his house, loses his company, loses his stock options, loses everything. My question to you would be, how long before Bill Gates is more successful than that guy again? I give it a few years. Few years. It doesn't take long, because Bill Gates and a lot of other people who've been very successful, Michael Jordan or whoever you want to talk about, anyone who's aspired to be great at anything, whether you're an author, whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a doctor, surgeon, whatever. Like, I'm saying, like, the peaks, you know, the greatest of the greats. We don't talk about the 975th best basketball player in the world every day. We just don't. We talk about the 20th. We talk about the first, the second. We don't talk about losers in life, do we? But what do the winners have in common? They all failed a lot. And they failed in different ways. LeBron failed in different ways. Michael failed in different ways. Scottie's going to have to learn to fail in different ways too. All of these guys are going to have to learn to fail in different ways. And what failure does is multiple things. It teaches you resilience. It tests you. You know, it's almost like, I don't know if you're religious, but it's almost like God is sort of, it's like, you sure you want it? You sure you want this? You sure you want to be a superstar, bro? Because you're going to be under a magnifying glass. You sure you want it? It's almost like the devil is tempting you and God is guiding you. And I don't know what it is, but in these moments, you learn so much about yourself. And that is why someone like Bill Gates or someone like Mark Zuckerberg or Warren Buffett or Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey or Barack Obama or whoever the hell you think, whatever you call success in life, that one of those people could take your life and flip it upside down. You know, when my life turned around in 2019, I started asking myself a question, which is a really great question to ask, right? So I got into really good shape in 2019. I'm not going to show pictures because it would be obnoxious. I'm not in great shape now, but I was in great shape for like this 1.5 years and I got like really ripped. You know how I did it? Instead of asking this question that I think a lot of us ask of what would it be like to be that person, you know, living vicariously through people, scrolling through Instagram and TikTok and looking at people having vacation, be like, I wish I was there, right? Instead, reverse the question and ask yourself, what if that person was where you were? So when I go into my workout, I don't ask myself what it would feel like to be Michael Jordan, actually, or Kobe Bryant. I would ask myself, what would Kobe Bryant do with his life if he woke up one day and had my life? I'm pretty sure he would fix everything in a week. You know what I mean? There was this interview that we watched with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander where he talks about being very specific and very particular about a lot of things and how that's always how he's guided his life. Well, what if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, someone who's, you know, so successful and so great at so many things, what if he woke up one day and he was me? Would he make this podcast 100 times better? Probably within a week, because he'd be like, nah, this ain't cutting it. We're not, what? We're nickel and diamond here. No, we got to invest. We got to do this. Do you know what I mean? So we all rise and fall to the standards that we hold as acceptable. Someone said something very wise to me in 2019. They said to me, what are your standards, young man? And I said, I don't know. I think they're pretty high. And she said, what are your standards? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, look around you. I'm looking around me. Those are your standards. That's what you've accepted in your life. If your walls are cracked, that's you accepted that. If your house is not clean, you accepted that. If you are not in the shape you want to be, you're accepting that. If you're not in a relationship you want to be in, you're accepting that. And if you're not successful in your pursuit of whatever the hell you want, whether it be money, whether it be happiness, whether it be time, whether it be time with your kids, whether it be starting a family, whatever, it is what you've chosen to accept. Hard to say, but true. This is where accountability comes in. It doesn't mean that your life isn't hard. My life's been hard. Your life might have been hard. It doesn't mean that there's no excuse for failure. There's plenty of excuses for failure. There's no excuse for sitting there and dwelling on failure for the rest of your life and identifying with it. Sometimes people come up to you, there's like, we say it's hood wisdom. You ever had someone come up to you and say, this you? Is this you? And I think that's an interesting thing because it's like, it's oddly like deeper than just a slang saying. Is this you? You're sitting there and you got fired and your girl left you and you're sitting there eating like junk food and feeling sorry for yourself. I think someone should come and ask you, is this you? Is this who you want to be? You know, you failed once. Now you're not going to try anymore. Is this you? That's who you want to be? I think these are worthwhile questions to ask. So the point here is Scottie Barnes and the Toronto Raptors, Immanuel Quickley, whatever, they got to keep trying stuff that feels uncomfortable. That's the only way growth ever happens. Do you know there's this entire fascination about how children learn languages better than adults, right? Do you know what I mean? Like they always say like it's easier to learn a language when you're younger. Why? There's nothing that should make learning a language easier when you're 4 years old than when you're 40 years old. You're way smarter when you're 40. Why is it so much easier to learn a language when you're 4? Consider your relationship with making mistakes. It's not true for everybody. Some people learn languages in 4 months. I've met them. They're very special people. I've learned languages. Yeah, I didn't do it in 4 months, but I've learned languages. I can tell you that it comes down to one simple fact. A 4-year-old does not care about making mistakes the way a 40-year-old does. You have to protect that essence of you that is not afraid to fail. A 4-year-old does not care about failure until an adult instills in them a fear of failure, instills in them shame. See, there's nothing inherently wrong with falling down because you tried to run too fast when you're young. It's good. You'll run faster next time. There's nothing inherently wrong with putting your hand up in class and being wrong and having the wrong answer. You should try. You should keep trying. It'll annoy people, but if you think you got something to say it. But what happens when a kid is wrong 2-3 times is we usually poke at them and tell them that they're an idiot. We call them a name. We tell them to shut up. And we pick on them. And in that moment, that child must decide, is this me? Is this me? Am I going to take this? Am I going to allow the judgment of 26 people around me, 26 children around me, to dictate whether or not I have the right to ask a question? Or am I going to keep putting my hand up? I feel like Scottie is the guy who kept putting his hand up. And I like that Darko said that he thinks that his heart's in the right place. I agree. I agree 100%. I tell you right now, if he knew the optics of what he was doing, he wouldn't have done it. If he knew, if he really, really understood, if he had the depth and nuance and maturity to understand how this could be interpreted or that it could even potentially harm his teammates, he wouldn't do it. That's not who he is. He's not a person who harms his teammates. You got to think about it from the heart too. I think that's important. Anyway, this conversation was, supposed to be about basketball. I'll close it off with something about Pensar basketball. So I had a really positive conversation today with someone who's going to help us with sponsorships for this channel because, if you don't realize, this channel kind of blew up a little bit last month when we were serious about content creation and making some videos. And, we're edging closer and closer to 10,000 views. We got probably, if not definitely, the most watched post-game show on the Raptors. And so we were thinking about how to package this and whatever. And, they brought up making it audio. I think a lot of people have talked about making it audio, having this thing go on Spotify and Apple iTunes, whatever, Apple Podcasts, whatever. And I've thought about that a lot too, but then sometimes I do things like I flash my screen and I show some analytics and I don't want to be sitting there saying everything. And so it's hard sometimes to make something like this into that. It's much easier, in my opinion, to make audio into video than it is to make video into audio. If you watch Thinking Basketball or More Thinking Basketball, it's a podcast. They don't do anything, but if you want, you can watch them have a podcast. You know what I mean? There's these two guys that do the JJ Redick show occasionally, and they're really great. They're so great. I'm forgetting their name. Makai something. He's great. They're both so great. So they do the same thing. They do a podcast and then they record it visually. So what I was thinking was, why split the audience? I don't want to split the audience. I don't want to be, afraid to show stats on the thing and then have someone listening to that and be like, wait, what were the stats? So my suggestion was actually pretty cool, which I think was a pretty good idea, which was do these lives, try to do them for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? And then do a completely separate thing for audio and add it also to video. So people have asked for a very, very long time. They've been asking, hey, can we get the condensed version of this? you know, like without all the callers, without all the conversations. Just I want just like the 25 minutes of everything you saw and what you think about this and that. And sometimes it gets lost. Sometimes it gets lost with random diatribes about life. And some people appreciate it and some people hate it. So the truth is that what I thought was like would be great. And this is a big reason why I don't like to triple up my content, if you know what I mean. Like if you follow us on Twitter, you get completely different coverage than if you follow us on Instagram, completely different than if you follow us on YouTube. It's like 3 different platforms, same person, but completely different content. Yeah, sometimes I'll share a little bit of what I did one to the other, but like it's not the same. That may not be very efficient, but I always want to know that when somebody sees a new story from us on Instagram, that they're not like, I already saw this on Twitter. You know what I mean? So you want to keep each platform separate. So I thought Spotify is a great place to do that. Plus, they told me that if you are what was the word they used? Simulcast. So if you're simulcasting, which is to say if you're audio plus video, you can get better sponsors. So that's cool. So yeah, so I think going forward, it'll be a slow ramp up. I am very, very majorly motivated to take this channel to the next level. I promise after Penn Dance, I'm going to take a week off. I'm going to decompress, get myself healthy. You know, I've been kind of having a nagging cough. Maybe I need to get that looked at. I have not been feeling super well. I have been very sleep deprived. I have not been taking care of myself, not been super healthy. So I need to get myself back to myself. I'll continue to make content, of course, and I'll continue to do lives and we'll continue to do that. But I think there is a real great wave of Raptors coming, you know, next year and beyond, the draft, all of it. And I just want this channel to be better. I want it to be great. And I don't know if it's great right now. I don't know if I can sleep at night. You know, I don't know if I wake up every morning and think I did my best, you know. I don't care about being like, I wouldn't care. I mean, it would suck, but I wouldn't care if these videos were getting like 500 views. If I really felt that I was doing a great job, I think I could sleep. So I don't even know. I wish I had the Kawhi meme on loop. I don't even know where you're sitting at. Like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, kudos to anyone who does this. I don't want to throw shade at another content creator. I got no beef with that guy. He doesn't seem to like Scottie very much, but he's also very young, you know, and a lot of people who do this are super young and they're younger than me. So, you know, c'est la vie, right? But for real, like, I have used that in a couple of debates. You know what I mean? Like people just be coming at me and saying all this shit about me, and they have this entire history. They'd be like, "Oh, you said this about this, and you said this on this date, and you said this and that." La, la, la. I'm just listening to it, and I'm just like, "Bro, I don't even know where you're sitting at. Like, I don't know who you are." I feel like that needs to be adapted into the general lexicon of like our cultural lingo. Like, you just go up to someone who's just talking bare nonsense to you and just be like, I don't even know where you're sitting at. And just look at them straight in the face. And I'm like, I don't even know where you're sitting at. Oh, that'd be wild. I'm definitely going to use that at least 100 times in my life. I know it for sure. Followed by his laugh. Yeah, for sure. You can't. I don't know, man. Like it's a hard laugh to follow up, but definitely I don't even know where you're sitting at as you look at someone straight to their face is it's cold. It's pretty cold. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cold. So anyways, so look, I think that'll be a really cool thing, the podcast form. And then of course we can talk about Patreon, and then boom, now you have 5, and then we can talk about TikTok, and then you got 6. And I was like, shit, am I gonna be a TikToker? I'm too old for this. No, it's all good. So yeah, 6 different streams of content. I'm gonna have to become way more organized, aren't I? Yeah. So that's gonna be cool. Anyways, and then I can't announce that yet. I can give a hint to it though. I am going to be starting up on a regular show elsewhere. And it's cool. And it's totally different from this. It's a lot more barbershop than anything else, but it's people who really understand basketball a little bit deep, but maybe don't talk about it in the same way. And someone reached out to me that's pretty friggin' incredible, and I'm going to bring him on this channel at some point, and we're going to have a nice little discussion about what he does and how he's doing it. So yeah, there'll be more of that. So there will be more of me in a month, but for now, yeah. Hey, that's great, man. Oil of oregano is great. Yeah, for sure. It's bitter as fuck, but it's great. Jason Williams, man, I appreciate you. Yeah, like I think like again, like I think a lot of people probably get turned away by it, and that's cool. I know some people appreciate it, and personally, it's not even. I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's not even about that. It's just I appreciate the fact that like this is why I did my own thing, right? It's not like I can go work for Bleacher Report or Raptors Republic or some other company and then just ramble on about my life. They'll be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" Like it's not Kenny for real. That would be really, really cool. I would love that. But no, it's not him. It's something different. It is big. It's really cool. But it's not Kenny. It's not that big. But it's great. And I'm really looking forward to that as well. So yeah, so there's just going to be a lot more Pantera basketball content, and like it'll still be a lot of the Raptor stuff, but like I think I want to go deeper into the draft this year, like I really do. Like I want to get real deep into the draft so that I can start like turning this into a draft prospect channel as well, because that's adjacent to the Raptors. I don't want to go into something completely opposite to the Raptors, but wouldn't it be great if after this live, I had a 1 hour live scheduled on this week in the NCAA, which players popped off? You know what I mean? Like so much of this audience would go into that live too, but then a completely new audience would come in to that live, and that's how you grow. So yeah. So I don't know. Like I think like maybe it's not normal for a content creator to just be like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? In a not so constructed way. But this is why I empathize with Scottie, is what I'm saying too, because I'm not very constructed. I'm a very like loosely constructed person. Like I don't like I'm having a conversation with a camera right now, which is being recorded, which can be clipped, which can be used against me, which can be dissected, which can be saved, stored, whatever. But I'm having the same conversation on this camera that I would with my best friend. Same thing. There's nothing different. There's nothing being said that's different. And I think that's big courage for me. That's a really big thing, because I watch a lot of people come on camera and then they front, and then they say things that they don't really mean, or maybe they can't say what they really mean. So they find like these edgy, creative, sarcastic, loose, let's say like there's a little bit of plausible deniability to what they're saying. Like for instance, Will Liu saying, now I guess we saw the face of the league, on his post-game show, if I recall correctly. Someone forwarded me that clip, and that's not like mean, is it? It is of course mean. Hey, Brandon, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate what you do and how you've helped me evolve my thinking around Raptors basketball. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I guess that does it for me. It's 12:25. I got to get back to Pandan stuff. Just a heads up, around the 30-minute mark, I flashed an offer to those of you who came in later for a film or a pair of films that are coming to Pendance. One, a world premiere of a really awesome film that I think this community would absolutely inhale and love. The director's flying in. It's a world premiere. And if you check the link in the description, there's a code for free tickets. It's happening in Toronto, February 22nd to 25th. That specific film is coming on February 24th. If you're an art house fan, of like different types of films, and it's a great film, Ararat. That's coming on February 22nd at 7 p.m. So if you can't make one, maybe you can make the other. If you want to make both, more the merrier. I'm happy to give something back to this community. As I said, like, you know, y'all give me so much. You give me your time, you share. I sometimes enter Twitter and I got like 40 notifications, and it's like a whole bunch of people defending me and saying like, nah, you're wrong about this guy. And I'm just like, thanks. So it'd be nice to meet some of you as well. So that's my offer. World premiere of, you know, this film. And I'll play the trailer one more time for anyone who missed it the first time. And
They're off. Cube had a good beginning, so too did Red Buell. Red Buell to the front. Amistad is there on the outside. Then it's Hallstatt, followed by Deft along the rail. Bridge to the Future is next, and then Lone Pioneer, who's 6 lengths off the lead, clear 2.5 from Power Boss. Lid's Boy to the inside, and Don Chicho is last. Up the backstretch, Red Mule the leader, 3/4 of a length ahead of Deft running in second as the field moves for the far turn. And then it's Cube in third, 22.97 that first quarter mile. Amistad is fourth on the outside. Behind that one is Power Boss. And then come Don Chicho and Lid's Boy. They're coming to the top of the stretch, 45, 3.5. For front running Red Mule. There by 2. No. And then toward the inside, it's Hallstatt.
This is gonna fucking make us. This is the thing.
They're all chasing the Red Mule. Hallstatt, a long shot, makes a late.
Ow! No fucking excuse, Jose! Go on, Jose! Get up, Jose!
The hook is that they're bred to run and they're bred to lose. They were invented to lose.
This is the plight of man. First you gotta sink really low and get in slime. And from slime, that's how man was created.